want to talk about how to win at the game of funding by leveraging real estate. Let me show y'all something. I want to show y'all something. And this is just 1/3. 1/3 right here. This is 1/3 of what I would call my bank. 1/3. I want to show you all how to build your own bank, not to go shopping, not to go buy cars for rental, not to do lifestyle hacking. I want to show you how to build your bank for one thing, and that is to invest. I want to show you how to build your bank to do one thing, and that's to invest. Here's the reason why. We're in a state of emergency financially right now. I don't know if you guys have been seeing. Red Lobster just filed bankruptcy. We're talking about Red Lobster, the garlic butter biscuits, Red Lobster. Like, I used to actually work at Red Lobster when I first graduated high school and I moved back to Milwaukee from Mississippi. My very first job as a high school graduate was Red Lobster. I took the first job that would hire me, and I started out as the dishwasher. But why am I pointing this out? If Red Lobster can't figure it out financially, how the hell you think you're gonna do it without a plan? Because here's something that you may or may not know. Red Lobster was bought by a hedge fund, and that's actually what's about to start taking place in corporate America, period. These companies are being bought up by hedge funds. And if you don't know how hedge funds work, is hedge funds will buy up a bunch of assets, bundle them like balling up a sheet of paper, and then throw it out on the open market and sell it for pennies on the dollar. I've been through that when I was at yellowpages.com. I was a full-time sales rep at Yellow Pages, and this was around the time I was starting to really learn how business works, how economics work, how hedge funds work, because this was the second time I had been through this. The company I worked for in Milwaukee, for those who've heard my story, where I worked at a company that had been in business for over 75 years, and they were bought by a hedge fund. And then I go into work one day, there's locks on the door. So they bought up a bunch of assets to increase their valuation so they can sell it or borrow against it. So same thing like real estate. You buy assets to increase your portfolio so you can borrow against it or sell it if you want to. But as we know, we should not be selling real estate. There was a video posted on TikTok, but in this video, it talked about how there's like $1.7 billion of equity that's been basically lost in the Black community in the state of Georgia, because over the past 3 to 5 years, Blacks have been selling off their properties. Let me say that again. It was like over $1 billion of net worth and equity that has been lost in the Black community because we were selling off our asset. Now think about that. So now we're selling off our assets, which when you look at the reverse engineering of that, hedge fund companies go in and buy up all the assets. You got companies like Red Lobster filing bankruptcy. Most retail chains are going out of business. You got AI taking over the tech industry. What is your plan? We're in a state of emergency. But here's the thing, and here's why I think sometimes there's a lack of translation when it comes to looking at whether you're winning or drowning, or if you're even, or whatever the case may be, because most people don't know their numbers in life. Like, if you tell me you make $50,000 a year, that's not how much you make. That's how much the company told you they pay you. What you make is what you make after your net income plus your expenses. Most people don't know how much they spend in expenses. Most people don't know how much money is going out of their bank account every month. Most people have zero plan put in place in a catastrophic situation financially. So I'm going to ask in a new unit of time, because I saw a couple people saying yes to this response. Are you on track of hitting your goals this year? Are you on track? You don't have to cap for Will Roundtree, because your response, you have to live with that. You have to sleep with that every single night. You have to look your spouse in the eyes every night. You have to look your children in the eyes every day. You have to go and pull your bank statement. You have to look at, are you robbing Peter to pay Paul? Are you drowning? And if you are, do you have a plan? Because that's where we're at right now. Most people do not have a plan in place. And that's what I come in to do, is to try to help you at minimum have a plan in place. I want you to see what it's costing you to live, what your lifetime earnings are. Today is strictly about numbers. Okay? You don't have to like Roundtree. You don't have to like my voice. You don't have to like this velvet soft shirt I'm wearing. The shirt is very soft. You don't have to like anything. Now, I did this breakdown once before, but I think it went over a lot of people's heads. And the reason I say I think it went over a lot of people's heads, because more people should have been disgusted when they saw this. So here's the average lifetime earnings over 40 years based upon the educational level, okay? So a person see, oh damn, $1.7 million with an associate degree. But when you break down how much $1.7 million is over 40 years, that's about $43,000 a year with an associate degree. Let's look at a bachelor's degree, $2.2 million. That is the average lifetime earnings for someone with a bachelor's degree, $2.2 million. It looks good on paper, but remember, that's over 40 years. That's about $54,000 to $56,000. Okay, let's look at a doctoral degree. Someone with a PhD, $3.2 million over 40 years. So for a person with a PhD, the average salary is $80,000. See, here's the thing. Again, you don't have to take Will Roundtree's numbers. This is public domain. We hear a PhD or we hear doctor, and we think that automatically is synonymous with wealth. I can't tell you how many doctors I've helped with bad credit. I can't tell you how many attorneys I've helped with bad credit. We've started living our life based off of titles. Somebody can go online right now and say, oh, I work for Google, and everybody's ears will perk up. People will get excited and think that person's a winner, not knowing that person probably mops the floors at Google. Same thing with a bachelor's degree. I can remember this was back in about 2008. I was at dinner with a group of people, and everybody was going around the table talking about, where they're at in their life, and oh, I got this degree, I got a degree in this and that, and I felt inadequate because I was one of the only few there who didn't have a degree. But as I've grown on my walk financially and grown to learn this information and this data, when people tell me they have a degree in a certain thing, I'm calculating how much debt they're in, because I already know statistically they're not even making enough money to start paying that money back towards that degree. These numbers should scare people. People get enamored by the upfront number, and we don't know how to delay gratification long term. See, what does it cost you to live per month? So breaking down the average monthly expenses for someone making $40,000 a year, that's at that associate's degree, okay? This equates to about $3,300 per month. That's before taxes. People never think about taxes. Assuming a typical tax rate of 20%, which is normal because most people only work from the E quadrant, which is the employee quadrant, their net income. See, net is what you get paid after FICA, after federal, after state, after Social Security, after the blah, 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 all that other stuff that they convinced you to have taken out of your taxes. They just told you, see, the $40,000 is what they pretend to pay you so that you come to work. See, the $40,000 is the number you use that sound good on date. The $80,000 is the number you use that sound good on dates. Oh, I'm high value. I make $80,000 a year. No, start asking what their net income is, y'all. All right, so assuming a typical tax rate of 20%, their net monthly income would approximately be $26.67 a month, okay? And that's being modest. So let's look at the average monthly expenses. Housing, $1,000 to $1,500. I can remember one of the first places I rented out here in Vegas that I was afforded to be able to rent on my own. It was a 2-bedroom, $700 a month. That was in 2008. Had a guard, everything. The Sedonas, anybody who's familiar with Vegas, I lived on South Vegas Boulevard at the Sedonas, had a gate, tennis court, etc. $700 a month, now $1,900 a month. You cannot get in that place for less than $1,500 a month. You just can't. So average housing is $1,000 to $1,500. Utilities, internet, at $70 a month, you operating on speed from AOL. God forbid you got a swimming pool. Your electric bill is $500 a month in the summer. God forbid you live in a state where it gets brutally cold in the winter. Your gas bill is $300. So again, I'm just using extremely modest numbers. Car payment, $500 to $750. Diamond gave y'all a breakdown how much she was spending for her car note. She downgraded so she can put herself in a better position. The average car note in North America right now is $750. That's not including insurance. So total basic living expenses, $3,500 a month. But as I broke down, your net income is $2,600 a month. So how do you get ahead without having access to passive income? Passive income is a mandatory now. See, let me tell you what passive income is. Passive income, because I think a lot of people really don't understand the power of passive income. See, passive income is the earnings generated with minimal effort or ongoing involvement, unlike activity income, which means you're not going and trading time for dollars, okay? Which requires continuous work. Passive incomes allow individuals to earn money without active participation. Now, when I learned what passive income was in 2000, I raised both hands and said, sign me up all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. I needed to learn how to make passive income. I needed to be able to offset my expenses. Passive income. 4 types of passive income: buying cash flowing assets, building cash flowing assets, share or sell assets, reverse passive income. See, all of these pretty much equates to real estate. This is why we have to be a part of real estate. We have to. So ask yourself, why are we continuously repeating the cycles of financial deficits or putting ourselves in a financial ruin? What are you celebrating? If you ain't where you need to be this summer, you need to be inside, not outside.